Alright, guys, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Another gloomy day. Gloomy New York City day. That's adorable. I've seen these everywhere. Little reindeer things, antlers on the top. So let's see. Today, I'm gonna go back again. My new ride has been like the south side of Manhattan, which is really fun. Get over there on the Henry Hudson, aka West Side Highway. Go down south under that little dip, and then I guess get off around Midtown and take the Midtown Bridge home. I don't know. Don't have much to do today, so I just need I need to continue to ride. There we go. Da, 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 da. This is actually the perfect weather out. I wish the sun was out a little more, but I will take it. Take it right here. Oh, there we go. Let's see, button on my jacket. Oh man, let's see. Oh, looks like they're building this building out. Kept the facade. Today I had like a loose topic I want to talk about. It's kind of like this is one of those leading nowhere topics. Kind of like my I had an epiphany video, just kind of therapeutic thoughts that I'll ramble on about. But generally speaking, I saw my friend the other day. Hold on, there we go. I saw my friend the other day. He's an artist, and I love this guy. We grew up together, and really just like an interesting mind. He's a professor. He's an artist. He's both of those things wrapped into one. And every time I see him, it's like we only see each other like maybe twice a year or so now, which is a damn shame because we live so close. But we're just busy, or at least he's busy, and that's okay because whenever we see each other, we just kind of like pick up where we left off. Like everybody has a friend like that. And so last time we got to hanging out, he informed me that he's writing a book, and that book is about kind of I think it was a big gathering of people, so I didn't really get to talk about it, but in general he's writing a book about teaching and like different methodologies, his methodology, and like how the teaching industry has kind of gotten it wrong over the past however long. So I thought it was an interesting topic because I too believe that things are not taught the way they should be and not in the most constructive way, and obviously education is an industry here, so it's become another industry. But I thought it was an interesting topic, and I wanted to kind of like just think about that, as well as something that we always talk about, which is selfishness versus selflessness. There we go. What's the difference? How they're intertwined? How they're related? That's always an interesting topic, and he did an exhibit about it. That was like 2 years ago now, but it was a cool exhibit, and that got me thinking about it. And I've always thought about it because I think it's a really interesting topic, the balance of the two. So, first part. Let's see. The teaching industry. Obviously, I think I've mentioned it before, but I am learning disabled, as I guess everybody is. But I had some serious like problems with learning and specifically processing information, especially verbal information. And I still do. So I found my own methodologies and figured out how to deal with it and how to best approach subjects. But I've always found that like I've always been lagging in school, like especially like wine school too. Like I always was behind, and the amount of work that I had to put in compared to what everyone else had to do was very disproportionate. Like I would spend, on average, probably like 30 hours a week going over a lesson, whereas most people would spend like 3 just to get it down. That's just because that's how my head works. But the I have always felt that school has always tried to teach you what to learn and what to memorize, and for someone like me who doesn't memorize all that well and doesn't process all that well, it was like the worst approach someone like me could have taken. Hold on a minute, it's about to get real bumpy. Fuck. Need an ADV bike. Alright, I'm good. Another one. It's fucking dumb. Oh, uneven ground. So yeah, the traditional way of like memorize this and get all these facts down like doesn't really work all that well for me, and I've had to find different ways to meet the same threshold as everyone else in that same class or everyone else learning that subject at my own pace. So it just means more work for me, but I found that I get a more profound and a deeper understanding of whatever the subject is because I have to process it differently and I have to put conscious effort into taking in that information. But I think education is not a one-size-fits-all by any means, and focusing on memorization and getting facts in isn't the goal, because half the time people remember all these facts, but then it doesn't make them an actual better, whatever you're doing, whether it's doctor or psalm or coder or anything. To a degree, it doesn't really make you any better than the other person. It actually teaches you just to remember things as long as you need to, which I think is a very dangerous practice to kind of to push on people. Now, that's not to say that memorization is not good and that people shouldn't be expected to memorize certain things. I'm just saying I don't think it's the primary driving force behind a lot of careers. So that's what I've come to find, and I've always kind of, in my life, in restaurants, found myself to be a very good teacher because I had to go through all these extra steps of learning how to, process the things that most people seem to have no problem with, but I did. I had to, find different routes to that same outcome. Whereas most people just memorize the shit as they're supposed to, and it's all good and dandy, and they're, on their way. So I've always taken pride in teaching what I have known in restaurants, whether it be wine or service or just anything in general, especially because the majority of people I've been working with were immigrants and either didn't speak very much English or English was just their second language, so they it makes it harder to read textbooks and facts and stuff when you have to do it at speed. So I took real pride in learning how to teach people, and that was one of my strengths was, interpersonal skills and education in restaurants. And that's, I look at my approach, and I think I saw a lot of success from the way I approach things. And I helped a lot of people, even though it's on a small scale. I helped people learn in a way that was beneficial to them and helped them get down the facts they needed to be on the floor of a restaurant. Small picture, but still counts. But I think the general approach to education probably could use some of that, some TLC. But it's a business here, so it's fucked up. And I don't really know much about it. I couldn't share any stats with you or make a real argument just because I haven't done any research on it, but that's just my feeling, my general feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense. Those are my preliminary thoughts. I like teaching, I do. I think I have a good way of communicating with people, and that's something I guess a lot of people don't have. Oh, he's in such a rush. In such a rush. But yeah, I'd be eager, again, because it was a big gathering of friends, I didn't really have the opportunity to, sit down and read this book that my friend's working on, but I'd be really curious to see what he has to say, just because it's He's an interesting guy, and we've always gotten along for that reason. Both very verbal, and like whenever we see each other, it's just like we pick up where we left off. We end up talking about something super deep, and like we just talk. So I'd be really eager to see this outline and hear his perspective, because he actually knows about the education system and the things that are right and the things that are wrong in his eyes. And I want to hear that, because like I'm just sharing my immediate thoughts, but I haven't studied any of this stuff. So yeah, I'll fill you guys in if I do end up meeting up with him and getting further into this. And then the other topic that we talked about was selfishness versus selflessness. I forget exactly what his exhibit was, but it was examining the juxtaposition of the two, or if there is one. Are the two inherently the same? How are they related? And I've always said, like, I've thought about this a lot. It kind of like, words in general have like connotations prescribed to them, right? So like I guess selfishness is like inherently negative, the way we think of it, right? Because it's selfish. It's not good to be selfish. But really, what's like, if you think about it, thinking of oneself or yourself isn't all that bad. It's actually an extension or a playing out of human nature, right? Like, it's important to, that's the drive that we have. That's survival, right? Like, you do for yourself and you want to take care of your needs. That's just normal. And it's become, I don't know at what point in history it became this negative thing. Maybe it always was, but like, it's crazy how like guilt is added on to this word. And this word is thrown around as like an insult. If you think about like just the use of words, right? Like, it's a word that's used to describe, like, I guess, a state of, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, state of intent? I don't know, state of intent, or like your mindset. It's a state of mindset, or a mindset is a state, I guess. So whatever. It's just a word, and we've turned it into this huge negative thing. And so there, in fact, to me, is nothing so wrong with being selfish, so long as it doesn't spill over into like you're negatively affecting someone else in pursuit of your positive like outcome, in which case it kind of bleeds into the territory of like, I don't know, evil or aggressive. I don't know, maybe, because if you're purposely causing harm to somebody, that slides into a different territory than being selfish and it so happens to affect somebody, right? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, back to the juxtaposition of the two different concepts. Like, I think the two have to exist in tandem, right? Because like, we don't truly do anything purely for someone else, right? Like, even on a minute scale, right? Like, people who do good things for other people, it makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel good, whether it's about yourself, or like, if you're religious, maybe you think that you're getting to heaven, so like that's a trade-off, right? And that feels good. So like, you kind of need both to exist in order for the other to work. And I guess perhaps like the two words and the connotations that we were talking about that are prescribed to these words as a result, the emotional part, are to incentivize people to act accordingly, right? In a society, I suppose you want people to be doing things for other people, and you want to encourage community. So what do? You use the word selfish as a negative, and to say you're acting selfishly, you are not helping the greater picture, or you're acting selflessly, and you are a true pillar of the community. You are doing things not only for yourself, you think bigger, and that's the way it should be. So everybody follow this selfless person, right? I don't know. So I think like his piece, I remember walking away thinking that like, you needed both. You needed all parts of the puzzle to exist for there to be a wholesome picture. And I don't think it's wrong to be selfish. I don't think it's wrong to be selfless. But I also don't think selflessness occurs without the presence of selfishness. And I think the two can be used in tandem to enhance the overall picture. which is, I don't know, a better person. However you want to do it, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird circular conversation we always find ourselves in, and I just think it's interesting and worth thinking about. All right, come on, guys, let's have some fun. South Street, Seaport. I remember that being a lot further uptown, and like when I'm on this highway, it's different. It hits different. A lot of bridges. Ah. Forgot this is one lane. Oh well. A little bumpy here. Come on, guys. Oh, Jesus Christ, this Prius. This Prius. Ah. Alright, fine, I'll get off here. Williamsburg Bridge it is. To Triumph, Brooklyn, to check my tire pressure. Oh, I can't wait until it gets warmer, guys, so I can, like, go for a longer trip. That would be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get out of the city. Although I've been finding, like, these new routes are kind of fun. They're just different. And I'm sure there's plenty more that I just haven't discovered, because I'm a creature of a habit. I do the same shit over and over. That's all I have to change up. Come on! most roundabout way to get to Brooklyn. But such a nice ride, actually. That was kind of fun. Alright, a little sprint to Brooklyn, and hang out there for a bit, I guess, at Triumph Brooklyn. Nice. Yeah, I think about these like existential thoughts a lot. I think everybody does, but they go around in my head a bunch. Selfless versus selfish. Yeah, it's crazy how words become weaponized, like so quickly, and like it really is like the default for everyone, including myself. Like we're just conditioned to, like all words are conditioned to evoke a certain emotion from someone, which sounds obvious, but like think about it. If you were to tell somebody, right, hey man, that's really selfish, like the immediate response, like, how is that selfish? Or like how? Why is it wrong for me to think this way? Or like, like where's this guy going, right? Hold on 1 second. Hold that thought. Yeah, so if you were to tell somebody that what they did was selfish, the immediate response like, no, it wasn't, or like, why is that selfish? Like, I'm just, is it, I hear this so much. This is why I know this dialogue. So it's like, it's wrong for me to think about, like, saving money for myself or whatever the issue is. When really, like, the real conversation that should be being had, right? And again, every situation is different, but like, just saying, if I was to be approaching someone who I believe to be being selfish, and like I wasn't personally offended by it, I would probably say something along the lines of like, hey, just be careful, man. I mean, it seems like you're I understand why you're doing that, but the interests, your personal interests are, potentially, affecting others in a way that you might not realize. Like, that's a much nicer way of saying it, right? But really, we sum it all up into like selfish. So that's just one example, and this is like, I sound like a 5th grade teacher trying to teach kids how to like use their words, but I'm just saying, like, when you step back and think about it, there's a lot of words like this that are, other than selfish, but like the whole human language is kind of like booby trapped with these words that have, since their invention or whatever, have taken on like implicit meaning that is usually negative or positive, and it's just crazy to me that like so many conversations, this is like where I get it from, like working in restaurants for so long, I hear so many conversations that go wrong, or sometimes that are just funny, but like so many miscommunications that happen because somebody uses a particular word that really means something else, or means the meaning of the word plus an emotion. And I just find that really interesting, that these conversations can get away from us simply because of the word choice, which is why, if you ask my girlfriend, specific words, choosing your words wisely is like a big thing for me. It's like Don't use the wrong word in the wrong situation. Make sure take the time to have the conversation, just because I've seen it go wrong so many times, and I'm like, this is a tricky language, my friend. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on some odd thoughts for the day on my daily ride, but that's what I'm thinking about, so I wanted to share it. Anyway, should be at Triumph Brooklyn in a minute, and I'm going to sign out now just in case my battery runs out. I think it will be, but thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you who follow along on my journey. My journey has been fairly boring in the past month just because it's cold out. I don't really feel like doing anything too adventurous. I'm just like finding new ways to get from point A to point B. So thanks for sticking with me through those, and I hope there's some interesting bits along the way. But come March-ish, I guess March is still cold, I don't know. Come around, like late March, mid-March, I will be trying to get back out there and do some interesting stuff. And like the dream is, well, the fucking thing is like get a job. I don't have a job. When I get a job, I would love to go to the track. I've heard it's not all that expensive if you go with a group of people. That's the dream. I really want to go to track, and I think that it would do me a lot of good. It would get a lot of these demons out of me that I've been sometimes letting leak into the streets. So if I could do that, I think it would A, make for like great content, and B, it would just be really fun and therapeutic and educational too, which is something I really want for my future. But I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I'm going to try to make it happen. Yeah. So I got a couple more weeks of this type of riding, and then we're back on track for fun, cool, exploratory content. Thanks for tuning in for this one, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Triumph Brooklyn, everybody. A lot less bikes than when I was working here. Racing Green. Let's see, is the Aprilia still here? Where's the Aprilia? That's the bike I really want. Where is it? It was here like a week ago. Although I've grown to love this bike. This is so much fun. So, alright. I'm out, guys. Peace.